Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with a little bit of Power Rangers news for today. It's kind of re-confirmed news, but it has been officially 100% confirmed that Power Rangers Dino Fury is going to be moving to Netflix as a Netflix exclusive show for season 2. This was news that effectively broke quite a while ago. I believe it was by accident from one of the actors. I think it was Chase's actor, but it was more or less accidentally leaked. Not to mention the fact that we had Netflix behaving a little bit different than usual this year. You know, not Netflix in general, but I mean for Power Rangers, because Power Rangers has been where Netflix has gone after it's aired on TV for years now. And usually, you know, sometime after the season finishes, they are able to get half the episodes and then the other half. But this year, it was handled a little bit differently, where Nickelodeon aired episodes 1 through 8, and then when Nick got their chunk, they didn't get just 1 through 8. We got 1 through 11. So we got 3 brand new episodes, and then recently they just put up the rest of them before they're even done airing on Nickelodeon. So it behaved very differently. So even if this hadn't been confirmed yet, in combination with the accidental leaks and then the way this behaved, the writing was pretty much on the wall, but that basically confirms it. And they said that it's going to be coming in spring 2022, so roughly around the time we usually expect the Power Rangers season. And I wanted to bring you this news, well, to just bring you the news and to discuss a few things with it, kind of addressing a few concerns and whatnot and a couple interesting notes. I mean, a lot of people seem to be upset sometimes that it's going to be on Netflix because it's like a wall behind it, but I mean, God, I hate to say this, but the future is streaming in so many ways, and like there's very few people that don't have streaming services of some sort. And for me, I always thought this was a smart choice. Ever since around Megaforce, I thought this should happen. I thought this would be a good move. I feel that Netflix or Hulu would be the two ideal choices because I think those are the ones, again, I don't know the data, like I don't know every single figure, but from my, opinion and then from my observation, I guess is a better way of saying that. I think Netflix and Hulu are kind of the most, generic ones that most people have that's not like niche, like Disney. Not that Disney only has like little things on there, but you know what I mean. Like it's kind of the more broader audience streaming service and that have been around longer. So Netflix and Hulu have the biggest install bases from my observation. So I think that's a really smart move. I think it's going to be better for the series overall. I hope it continues after this, even after Dino Fury. And I know it costs money, but you don't have to sign up for a year. You can just sign up for a month when they drop the half season, or you can wait until they drop both and sign up for a month and binge it all. The thing is again, I don't also know about every single cable practice, but from my experience, Nick is a paid cable network, so you have to have some sort of premium cable subscription to get it. I think you might get it in like the lowest end one, because it's not like it's a HBO or a Showtime or something. But again, last time I checked, Nick wasn't one you got with like your regular local stations. So if you were watching it on Nick, you were still paying for it. So I don't really see a difference personally. I think it's a smart move. Again, Netflix has a huge install base. There's so many kids franchises and other franchises that have it on there. I mean, Pokemon moved there. Pokemon's a huge anime, and they recently moved exclusively to Netflix with Pokemon Journeys. So I think this is a brilliant move. Again, I hope that they continue it even after Dino Fury, whether we're continuing adaptions or animated or whatever series. I think that this should be, at least for the foreseeable future, the TV home. I think it makes it easier. Something of note before I get to the scheduling is in one of the descriptions where they were talking about like, oh, it picks up, where we left off, fighting Void Knight, and mentions they're going to be getting a new T-Rex bike or something like that. And that was interesting because we just recently got that image of the new T-Rex bike set with the armor, so that tells me we might be getting an original bike in the show. And that actually excites me. I always like that, and it leads to some fun footage, and the stunts have been pretty good. So I'm going to be happy if that happens, because then it'll give me another reason to pick up the bike. That was just a small note. Also, again, spring 2022, around the same time, ever since this has been discussed, a lot of people have wondered, like, how are they going to drop it? Are they going to drop it all at once? Are they going to drop an episode at a time, a minute at a time all year? You just get 1 minute each day? That's not going to happen. I don't even know why I said that. But my guess is, again, this is just speculation based off of what we've gotten in the past. I'm going to guess it's going to happen just like it did last year. We'll get the first 11 in the spring and the second 11 in the fall, because that's usually how Netflix operates with things like this. I mentioned Pokemon Journeys. That's kind of a good example. They'll drop roughly, I can't remember how many they do. It's like somewhere between 11 and 13, but they'll drop a chunk as part 1, part 2, whatever, and then some months later, you'll get the next part. And since they already kind of had a model for that with Dino Fury, and they did drop 11 episodes instead of 8, I think that's exactly how it's going to go down. And I think that's probably the best way to do it, because I don't mind them dropping bigger chunks. I know some people wanted individual episodes a week. Netflix usually doesn't do that. But I think that's the best of both worlds, Hannah Montana style. 2 different chunks, so it keeps people talking about the series for longer, and it doesn't just let it fade into obscurity too quickly. My only hope is around episode, or the part 2 rather, I hope that it premieres before the international episodes. I think this is a great opportunity for us to finally nip that problem in the bud. We were very close this year. It dropped on Netflix and started on Nickelodeon not long after the international airings compared to previous years. Like, by the time Beast Morphers was done, like, people had entire families and grandkids, and then it premiered on Nick after it was in the international airings. But we were a lot closer this year, so that's one of my main hopes, is that when we get season 2, or part 2, excuse me, season 2, part 2, that it premieres before the international airings, or at least really close to it. But I think this is good news for Dino Fury Season 2 and beyond. I think that this is one of the better possible moves, so I'm excited it's finally confirmed, and I think that it's going to kind of be something nice. Last thing I want to say is, don't expect this to mean Dino Fury Season 2 is going to drastically change from what it's like. It's not like any mandates Nickelodeon had or any structures they had is going to be suddenly gone because this isn't fully produced out of it. So expect it to feel very similar. I think if there was any sort of mandates from Nickelodeon that would disappear, that will happen in the following season. Honestly, I think the only thing that was probably mandated was the holiday specials, because I think that the kind of kiddie stuff that Power Rangers has, the overly kiddie Barney stuff, comes from more of Saban's stuff than Nickelodeon. Because if you watch anything else on Nickelodeon, Power Rangers is like the only thing that behaves this way, and it's really weird. But what do you guys think of the official move to Netflix? Let me know in the comments. As always, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so notifications for videos like this and more. Dawson Ryder, signing out.